Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for listening into this particular short video. I have actually put in a video with regards to, the BAC application process. And I know that a lot of you are interested in coming in to study in the UK under this student visitor visa. But what I want to do is obviously make sure that you are very well informed and are aware of the application process at UK Versity. Now, there are a couple of things that you normally would do in terms of, undertaking this process. We have on our website, which I'm going to show you in a second, a couple of things that you can actually get hold of in terms of information with regards to, UK Versity. So in this case, what we're looking at is, you guys visiting our website, and that website would be the first source of information for you to be able to, make that application successfully. So under the short visa section, what I would suggest is if you go to the admissions form, and in the admissions form, there is a short video recorded by the admissions manager. And this video basically informs you in terms of what are the processes and what are the routes through which you can apply to come and study in the UK under this particular visa with UK Versity. It is a short-term study student visa, and the application process is also defined here very clearly. Now, in terms of before you make the application, you are expected to have all these documents to hand, because this is going to make the process for the application easier, and it would take not more than 15 minutes if you have all these documents to hand before you actually start the application. I think the key bit here that we are looking at is we are looking at getting hold of your past information. If you have a previous visa history, and if you have been to the UK, or if you have visited other countries on a tourist/visitor visa, then all this information would be helpful for us to be able to make an informed decision and check your eligibility as far as this visa status is concerned. There is no specific age. People with, mature learners can also come across on this visa, but obviously their visas would depend on what is their previous highest qualification. So if you've done bachelor's, you'd be looking at coming to a level 7 diploma in strategic management. If you have done your 12 years of schooling from overseas, then you're looking at coming in the OTHM level 3 diploma and foundation diploma in higher education studies. There are other courses also available, and the list of that is typically available on our website. This application form also requires you to put in a fees of £25 towards the end. And this is to ensure that when you fill the form in, because you're paying money, you will ensure yourself that you're making and providing all the information which is necessary to help us, assess your application in detail. Now, the courses and the sessions part of it, in terms of what are the sessions that we have, and obviously, what are the dates and what are the fee structures, they're all mentioned here on our website. And as you can see, these are the only courses that we offer under this particular visa. So you have to be very clear when you apply, it has to be one of these courses that you're looking at coming to study. And the course intakes and the dates for, admission, including the last date of entry, is also mentioned on this particular page. Now, once we receive your application form, once it is received, I will show you an application form as well. Once it is received, what we then do at some stage would be to basically look at, sending you a few emails. And these few emails are essentially going to help you get started. So when we look at the application form, this is how the form is received. And obviously, once we receive the form, what we're going to be able to do is issue you a couple of emails, which I'll also show you. And these emails will essentially help you understand the process of taking admission. Now, once we issue the emails, these emails would be on 3 different types. One, obviously, welcoming you to UK Versity and saying thank you for applying. Second would be a case wherein you are required to take an English test, and that English test is called the English score test. This English score test essentially is a test that you would be required to take. This is a test which can be taken on your mobile phone, a tablet, or a PC. It's a test which is owned by the British Council. This is something which is becoming quite useful. You get a test certificate at the end of it, and that test certificate is valid for a period of 2 years. Now, this test certificate that you get is required to be provided to us after you've got the email, and we have sent you an email with regards to explaining how you can download the app and how do you do the test. This is a video test. You will have to have your camera switched on. The moment you do away or look away from the camera and go away, essentially what will happen is the test would stop. So when towards the end, you need to pay £19.99, just shy of £20. And then you will be downloading a certificate which comes, and that allows us to verify your English score in terms of what is your English proficiency after you have taken this particular test. This test is turning out to be very useful because obviously it makes the application more authentic. The immigrations officer at the at the British consulate is able to see that you have tested yourself for English and you've received a score. And this will also allow us to put you into a relevant course basis your English proficiency. So if you score A1 and A2, you're looking at coming in for an English course. If you score B1, B2, depending on your previous qualification, you can come in to do level 3 course. And if you're B2 and above, then it'll be, if you have a bachelor's degree, then it'll be a level 7 or any other diploma commensurate to what your qualifications are. Once we get this certificate, we will do an interview on Zoom. And that interview is something like this that I'm doing. It'll be a half-an-hour interview, which will be recorded. And that interview will allow you to essentially explain why you're coming to the UK. We'll get to know you a bit better, and you'll get to know the college and have the opportunity to ask questions to the admissions manager or the interviewer who's actually doing your interview. Now, after the interview is done, and you provided us this English score certificate, what we then do is we will issue a conditional offer letter. That conditional offer letter essentially would allow you to then get details about the course, what is the start date, what is the fee structure, and all those things are going to be then provided. Once you've received the conditional offer letter, at some stage, what we are going to do is then ensure that finance will issue the invoice. Once the invoice is issued, you make the payment of the fees to the client account of the college, which is ring-fenced. We cannot use the fees unless you have a decision on the visa. That fees is protected. And obviously, at some stage, once you get a decision on the visa and you arrive here, we'll be getting the fees from the bank. The other bit would be if you have a refusal, then at some stage, what will happen is that the fees is going to be refunded back to you. And there's an admin fees deduction of £175, which tends to happen on the fees. Which is the administration fees as per the terms and conditions. This is an example of a conditional offer letter that we issue, and along with that, we issue bank details and an invoice, which will allow you to make the payment, for the purposes of starting the course with us. Now, once we receive the fees, we will also issue some of the other letters that will include visa letter, accommodation letter, short-term tenancy agreement. We'll issue a fees receipt. We'll also give you a copy of the invoice and an information pack, which allows you to then make the application in an informed way with the Home Office or UK Visa and Immigration Service. The decision for these applications typically takes about 8 weeks. And there could be delays depending on which consulate and which country you're applying from. But generally speaking, this is a thorough process. So we normally give you a visa letter or a sponsorship for at least 2 or 3 months down the line, so that you have enough time to be able to make the application, prepare the application well, and make sure that the bank statement that you have is adequate enough to be able to, show that you have the funds to come in and study this course with us. Now, this process is typically managed by one of my colleagues in the college, and you would normally be in touch with that colleague. That colleague could be an admissions manager, could be somebody in the administration team, and they would then be looking at dealing with you on a one-on-one basis. You can get in touch with us on the phone at 0161 273 4745, or drop us an email at admin, which is a short form for admissions, admin@ukversity.co.uk. So I hope this particular short video is quite helpful for you to help prepare and then make an informed and the application which is going to be successful for you to come in and study with us here at UK Versity. One last quick thing which I'd like to add is that under this visa, there is no work allowed, there is no switching allowed. And when you come in, you are going to be studying at the college for 2.5 to 3 days, because that is a requirement in terms of attendance. And you would need to be based in and around Manchester. And I would say not more than 10 miles, because otherwise the travel costs would be too much for you to essentially bear. And then keep in mind that the tenancy agreement and most of the accommodation in Manchester is generally £450 per calendar month. If you come in and choose to share accommodation, obviously costs can be brought down, but our agreements and paperwork that we issue would typically be £450 per calendar month rent. And you are expected to come and stay in Manchester, in and around Manchester, within a 10-mile radius. We won't be accepting applications if you're looking at coming in and staying with somebody in terms of your relative or your friend in London, Birmingham, Leeds, or areas which are outside Manchester and are outside the radius of 10 miles. So if you have friends and relatives in the UK, you need to tell us at the time of making the application, making sure that they are based in Manchester. If they are not, and you're looking at coming to stay and come during the course of your studies, looking to stay with them, then it will be best off that you find a college in that city or in that location, and that would be much more ideal and convenient for you as well from a cost perspective. So I hope this short video has given you an insight in terms of what is required to be done when we look at making an application, some of the entry requirements, eligibility criteria, and the process through which your application will be accepted here at UK Versity. For any more questions or queries, feel free to give us a call on 0161 273 4745 or drop us an email at admin, which is admin @ukversity.co.uk, or go onto our website and look at the information given under the short visa section on the homepage. Thanks very much for joining. Bye for now.